Hello, dear friends, and welcome to day 14. It's getting pretty close to half time, which is very exciting, and I don't know, I was kind of getting a bit sad, but I don't know. I mean, I'm the kind of person who gets sad on Saturday evening because it's Sunday tomorrow and then the next day is Monday, so yeah. Anyway, today's prompt is Overgrown, and I thought that I would do a little overgrown house because I find those are so interesting. There's something so deep and dark and mysterious, but also kind of whimsical about them. I feel I don't know, it kind of makes me think it's the place where fairies or dragons or something like that would live. And yeah, I really enjoy the concept, and I don't draw houses, so we're starting a bit of a trend, and I don't know if I like where this is going, but I think that's one of the things that Inktober does best, is push you outside of your comfort zone. So yeah, people one day, houses the next. Where will we go from here? So yeah, I mean, I didn't go that far. This is an actual house. This is a pot plant that looks like a house. So, don't count your chickens before they hatch and what. But I really like it. It came out a lot better than I thought it would. Perspective is weird and hard, and it's something that I'm working on, and it's actually quite fun to work on. It's very technical and very sort of, I don't know, I mean, it's not really scientific, it's like technical drawing. And you have your disappearing point, and if you have a 1-point perspective, you just basically draw some bicycle spokes outwards from that point, and you go from there. So yeah, what could possibly go wrong? But today it was okay. And I surprised myself by actually doing a little house with some little succulents, and I really liked it. It does make me think of there's a very interesting house that's along one of the highways here, that it's like an awesome factory looking place that has these amazing trees just growing inside it. It's basically just become one with nature again, and I really like that concept. We covered it in school once in the poem Ozymandias, and I mean, it's a little bit depressing. It's a lot depressing, but it's a really interesting poem about how there was this really awesome ruler, or at least he thought he was really awesome, who sounds like he may have been quite cruel, but he actually has this giant monument erected in honor of himself. And at the end, the story is basically about just how he returns back to sand in the desert, and how the sand will reclaim him, and eventually no one will know that he even existed, despite the fact that he tried so very, very hard to make sure that he lasted an eternity. It's by Percy Shelley, and it's really good. I really love that poem. It's very short as well, so you don't need to be deep in the poetry life to enjoy it. You know, it seems like everyone's like, oh, it's such a trope, but actually it's quite a lasting idea and quite an interesting concept about, existential crisis and humans trying very hard to be the only animals that are aware of their imminent demise, but we're cool with it. We're totally cool with it. That got really deep really quickly, but I think it's because Inktober starts to get really deep really quickly at around this stage. I think it's different for everyone, but I start to sit and think, okay, but I really wish that I hadn't committed to this, or I really wish that I was better, or I really enjoy everyone else's posts, but I'm not really liking my own. And you start getting into that little rut that creative people tend to throw themselves into, that chasm of self-doubt. And I think that with Inktober, I find that this is when sort of the novelty, I guess, has started to wear off, because, there's that very famous idea that if you want to build a habit, 21 days is the perfect amount of time to build it. And we're starting to approach that mark. Like, we're still a week off, but we now have started to accept that this is not like, this is not a thing I'm just doing for a few days. This is something that I'm committing to for a whole month. Like, wow, a month is a lot longer than I thought. And also, it's, I don't know, in line with the existential crisis moment, I guess it also starts making you think about how very quickly a month can pass, because you're like, wow, it's day 14 already. Wow, that's 2 weeks in. Ooh, okay. And I don't know. It's very fast and slow at the same time, which I guess is also a problem with being able to understand the concept of time and the fluidity of moments and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very strange. So I feel like at this stage is when Overgrown actually is a really pertinent prompt, because your mind and your life starts getting a bit overgrown with Inktober. Personally, I've started getting a thing of like, okay, so this is when, like, we film the video, and if I film the video here, then it's best if I do this, and it's best if I do that, and it works fastest if I do this, and and I started telling people, oh no, I can only start doing whatever you want me to do at this time of the day, because before that I'm doing this. Sorry. And yeah, I think it's good. I think it actually is a good way for you to prioritize, and I think that we would actually all be a lot better off if we prioritized our long-term goals the way that we prioritize short-term goals like this. But there's also the problem of balance, because I feel like the reason that Inktober starts to become a thing that people are either letting go of now or kind of becoming obsessed with is because you start losing steam. You start losing that energy and that novelty that it had before, and you really start to commit. But it's also a very tiring process. I mean, there's a reason that there's only 1 month of the year that this challenge is set in. So it's to develop good habits, but not necessarily habits of, say, for example, releasing a video every day of a complete painting. Or even just, last year I was doing just one Inktober post on Instagram a day, which still required me to do an entire drawing which was complete per day, which I was not used to. So, every year I am very proud of how I'm upping my game, but it is very, very stressful, and it is very, very draining. But I think the people who are still around are quite proud of themselves. And I think at this stage, you're also starting to set realistic expectations of yourself. So I think that this painting was very ambitious, and I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really, really happy with how it came out. But I don't think I could do 31 days of this deep layering and drawing things that I'm not comfortable with and trying new perspectives. I think that if I tried to do this every single day for the whole of October, I would be so burnt out. Even as it is, I'm not burnt out, but I can feel the strain, I can feel those creative muscles working hard. So anyway, I hope that you are not becoming overwhelmed by how your life has become overgrown with Inktober. Anyway, I hope that you are having an awesome week, and I wish you all the best for this new week of Inktober. You guys can do the thing. Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow, guys. Okay, love you. Bye.